Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do a video on the new game, which is in beta right now, Disney's Mirrorverse. Now this is Kabam's latest game, and it's basically a fighter game. It's a 3-on-3 fighter game, and it's a little bit like Marvel Strike Force and a little bit like Marvel Contest of Champions. I would say that the character design with the abilities is a lot like Marvel Contest of Champions, which is Kabam's big game. But you're going to have a whole bunch of characters to use. You're going to have several different content modes to go into. I'm going to talk about the good that I see in this game and maybe the stuff that could definitely use some working. So before I really get into it, I just want to show you a typical map and how it's going to work out. I am going to do normal. I'll do chapter 3. I'll do chapter 4. So I'm at, I believe, 5-5. So map 5. And so I've gotten into the game quite a bit, and I love this game. This game is a lot of fun. There are some things, like I said, that I would probably work on a little bit, but it's just a ton of fun. So we're going to go in here. As you can see, I've already claimed these rewards. And I'm going to go ahead and probably swap out Baloo for Baymax. So as you can see, we have different classes of Guardians. We have Gaston, who is a ranger. We have Aladdin, who's melee, and we have Baymax, who's our tank. And so these roles are going to work really well with one another. I think a lot of people were saying if I'm using melee and tank to use a support, so like a healer, so somebody like Belle would actually work really well with this setup. But I'm going to turn on the auto function and just go ahead and go through this first fight here. So the one thing I like that's different about Marvel Strike Force is it's real time. It's movement, it's action, it's dodging, it's using your abilities, it's stacking your abilities with your teammates, and really making those decisions that you would make in Marvel Contest of Champions. So you're going to have the heavy, you're going to have the light attack, you're going to have your special attack, you're going to dash and defeat your opponents. So as you can see, the AI with Baymax as the tank was really taking the lead. Gaston, being the ranger, he was put in the back, and Aladdin's kind of put in between. So the 3 buttons you see down there are for each of my champions to control their special abilities. And then they're all going to have signature abilities once you get them to a 4-star ranking or higher. For being a map 4, this is one reason why you always want to control the melee character. They take a lot of damage if you don't take direct control over them. So I got some gold off that. Not bad. So this is the main campaign. You're going to work your way through this. I actually got an objective out of that. You're going to work your way through the campaign. There is a couple other modes that I can show you guys here. And then we'll get into the Guardians and kind of how they work out themselves. So a couple of different modes. We have the campaign, which is on the left-hand side. We have the mode that is dailies. Dailies is where you're going to get the materials to level up your champions and to tier them up as well, along with some gold. You're going to have the tower. The tower is, for a newer player, is definitely more difficult for me. And then you're going to have one of the monthly events, which is the Stitch event right now. Stitch is a new character, and you can actually go in there for a new currency that you can use within one of the store's games. That's one thing I really like about this game, is there's a lot of in-game currency that if you're not a spender, there's still a lot of ways to go around and get the stuff that you need. Then we're going to have the dungeons, which I'm going to show you right here, only because I have enough dungeon energy from my previous dungeon run. So we're going to take it off hard and go into normal, so you guys can kind of see how this is going to work out. You can see down on the bottom of the screen my total points. This is going to be accruing for 2 days or so, and this is actually really good for me. I moved up to the harder difficulty within a couple of days, and definitely having a fun time. There is a Dungeon Alliance event going on. There's actually a pretty good amount of Alliance events going on, and you get a really good amount of rewards. At the top of the screen, you can see the recommended power, and I have way over that, so I should be fine. I'm actually going to swap out. Let me do this. Let me swap out Aladdin. No, I'm going to keep him in there because Hercules is not that strong on auto. But I'm going to pull out Gaston, and I'm going to put in Belle, so she can be our healer for this one. And we're going to go in this, and if you're used to doing a dungeon crawl, this is going to be really similar. It's going to be, under Fog of War. You're going to want to go to these chests, and you're going to want to open them. And it's a good or bad surprise of what's going to happen. So we got armor gain buff. And we're going to confirm and go to the next floor. Didn't get any points because I didn't really do anything or find the chests that actually give me points. So the thing about dungeon, that's really good. Aladdin does wound-based attacks, is that you have a limited amount of energy. And that energy doesn't regenerate until after, it's only once a day. So it's not like your campaign energy. Let's see what this is. Cleared the fog. That's a nice one. So we can kind of see what we're missing. Go up here and collect them. Some minor motes, which is a good thing. And whenever you go back on a traveled path, that's usually when you come, head to head with the opponent of that specific level of the map. So once I clear these, this party right here, hopefully I can take some damage and kind of show you how that works within the dungeon itself. The tower is different. The tower is, you can take damage, but you don't take that damaged character with you. They always regenerate. And as you guys can see, Belle, for a beginning level healer, she is just crazy amount of healing. Mickey ultimately is the healer you want for endgame, but Belle is going to suffice pretty well for us right now. She's increasing defense. Baymaxes can decrease offense. They can also do armor, which is why you see those blue bars above their health bars. And I love the art. The artist on this game did a fantastic job, and we didn't really take any damage there. All right, so there's nothing else on this map, so we're just going to head back to the entrance. And we're going to go up another floor. Didn't do much there. Those chests are the ones that actually give us points on the current floor. We got a potion. armor gain, which is good. Oh, we got some more energy, which will definitely come in handy. And we're going to backtrack, so we're probably going to run into the opponent here. This is actually pretty interesting. I didn't think about doing this. I did the normal, and there's 5 floors to the dungeon. At the 5th floor, I'm take that back. I did the hard, and on the 5th floor, I had lost 2 of my guardians, so I backed out of it. And I didn't think about going through the normal and getting more points on this. This is actually a pretty good idea. And Bell, and I can't remember if that's Bell or Baymax that are doing all that armor, but it's pretty nice. And once again, we didn't take any damage because we had Bell healing and we actually had armor on us. And I'm not going to worry about what's up there because I'm running out of energy, because I'm going to try to complete this one. So yeah, it actually took me some time to figure out the combat strategy, especially with melee. So you want to do it 2 hits because they're going to stun you with their hits. So you want to do 2 hits, dash through the opponent, and then get behind them and do 2 hits and dash through them again, and just kind of repeat that so that they don't have a chance of hitting you. And it actually works out pretty well. Yeah, because Aladdin is staying within the circle of Baymax. He's getting a lot of armor on that. So we are fighting what's known as Fractured. They're basically versions of all the Guardians, but they're kind of mindless automatons. So let's hopefully... Oh yes, we got to the boss just in the nick of time. We just ran out of energy. Hopefully that means we can exit. Otherwise, I think I can wait till the next day and use that energy that I get back. Ian Lightfoot. At higher levels, he can be a little bit of a pain. And that's Mulan right there. So not too bad, considering I had done another dungeon run. I'll back out of there. So that's going to be the dungeon. Like I said, the tower is going to work similarly to the dungeon. The dungeon events change, looks like every 2 days or so. And the tower is going to change as well. So right now we're in the high-tech tower, which means you actually have to use at least one tech champion. And I use my Baymax for that. And then we're going to have the seafaring tower. And that one you would probably have to use Maui or Ursula would be some of the champions you could use for that one. So those are the basic events that are going on in the game. Now let's take a look at the Guardians. So I just started, so I immediately pulled a 5-star Baloo and a 5-star Aladdin, which was incredibly lucky. I had to work my Gaston up to 4-star and my Baymax up to 4-star. Today I pulled a 4-star Hercules and a 4-star Maui from the selection crystals that I bought. I did get Mike Wazowski. I've gotten him too many times, and he's not really good at all. I pulled a Stitch, who is a rare one to get right away because he just came into the game. Got a 4-star Scar. A lot of these other ones are going to be 3 and 2 stars, but I did get a lot of the Guardians so far. I believe Mickey Mouse, Elsa, and Stitch, they're all exclusives. Not exclusive. Stitch is not an exclusive. That is Jack Skellington. Elsa, Mickey, and Jack, I believe, are exclusives. Tiana is one of the new ones, so she's not in the common crystal along with Stitch. But if you take a look at the characters right here, we can take a look at their abilities. And Baymax, for example, just his standard ability is he grants a 25% defense buff to other teammates in an area around him. He's immune to wound and poison, which is really good. There's no poison in the game yet, but wound is definitely a big ability to use for a debuff. Then his special ability, he activates his armor field for 5 seconds. While in the field, Baymax and teammates gain 1% of their total defense as armor every second. Now, once we take a look at Belle, you'll see that she's doing defense buffs. So this is where they're kind of working hand in hand together on that. Enemies within the armor field are inflicted with stun for 1.5 seconds when it activates. And then his 4-star ability is other teammates under 10% HP heal 1% every second while in his armor field. Then you're going to have talents. And these talents are going to enhance your abilities. So right now I have the Advanced Field Chip, which is the defense aura grants 5.71% more defense. The Advanced Armor Chip, armor field grants 1% more armor. And the Kinetic Compensation Chip, enemies within the defense aura receive a negative 10% attack buff, which I may actually change that to the Sustainer Chip, which is the armor field lasts 0.5 seconds longer. So you can actually set up different builds with your character. You know, if we go over to Belle and we look at her abilities, So at the beginning of each combat, all party members are granted a 10% defense buff for the duration of the encounter. So Baymax is actually using that and creating more armor based on that. And then her special ability, all allies heal 2.5% each second for 4 seconds. And then she has a 15% chance to additionally grant 10% armor for more to her allies, which is building on Baymax's ability. And then her signature ability at 4-star is her special ability gains an additional 5% chance to grant armor to allies. So a lot of these guardians are going to work as a part of a team. And that is like really important to note, because we've played other games and we know that like sometimes the characters are supposed to function as a team, but they don't really work together. And that's what I'm glad Kabam really accomplished with this game, is they got characters to work together with one another. And you're going to see that pretty often, such as Gaston and Aladdin. They stack wounding together, which is incredibly effective, so they can take advantage of each other's wounding. But you're going to see that through other characters in the game. Now, if we go and look at the alliances, we have certain missions that we have to do every so often. Sometimes they're daily, sometimes these events are weekly. Very common in most games like this for alliances to have missions to do, and then you use this currency and you go and buy certain things in the store with it. And just to show you the store here, so they are going to, of course, be selling these crystals, and these crystals cost so much money. So if you were to buy cash for these orbs, it would cost you, let's see, about $10 for one of the famed crystals, and say about $5 for the stellar crystals. One thing I'm crafting right now is the Timekeeper's crystal. I haven't gotten a champion out of them yet. They're not something I think are all that great. These are going to be a lot of different event crystals that you can actually buy shards for, and I actually just opened an alliance crystal and got a 2-star Goofy. Then we're going to have Tiana's Apothecary. This is for the currency you earn from the Stitch event. Current offers, of course. Talked about orbs, the bazaar. This is going to change, I believe, every 4 hours. There's always going to be something free for it, and you're always going to be able to refresh the store for free at least once. So this is actually kind of nice to pick up something for free, or if you need something to come in here and use your in-game currency for the orbs that you're collecting and kind of use that to buy something that you need. This is the dungeon store. So if you need to get dungeon potions, dungeon energy, you can go ahead and use your orbs to buy what you need in there. The Laurel store, this of course is for your alliance events. I actually just bought the alliance crystal shards to complete one alliance crystal, but you can actually get a lot of stuff in here, which is actually really nice. Stardust is a currency you get whenever you get a champion, and you guys can kind of see what I've gotten there so far. I would need at least 600 for a 3-star champion, and the reason why this is important is if you have a 3-star Aladdin and you really want to get him to 4-star because you really want to unlock that special ability, you would have to buy him in here 4 times, so that's 4 days, and you'd have to have 2,400 skill Stardust to do it. But I just did this with Baymax, and I got him up to 4-star this way. And so I really like this about the store. It's a great way to help players unlock champions. And then Glamour is just that. They're like frames, pictures that you can kind of buy, and it doesn't really do anything functional. It just kind of helps you create, my little icon in the upper left-hand corner. So I really like this game. I think this game deserves, I would say, A 9 out of 10. I would say probably an 8.5 out of 10. The issues I have with the game is there's no PvP mode. That's going to be a really big issue for a lot of players. There's no Alliance War, there's no Alliance Raid mode. That's really that competitive mode that really gets players engaged. Right now, the main purpose is those Alliance events for why players should be in alliances. Energy is another problem. It takes 6 minutes to refresh one energy, and typically 4 energy to just do a single map. Or a single part on a map, I should say. And so I think that's my cons to it. I would say if you are a free-to-play player and you are looking for something that you can actually progress in, this is a fantastic game to play. I think you could easily do it because free-to-play players are used to grinding, and you're just going to be able to grind the content daily, get your free stuff, and get your characters. They have talked about PvP in the past on this game, and as far as I know, it really hasn't gone anywhere. I think what Kabam is working on is refining each mode that they have currently before they move on to another mode. And I think that's really responsible of them. The patch that was in December was just to fix their dungeon mode. Apparently it was not good before, and they made it to where a lot of players are enjoying it. So I would highly recommend you check out this game. It's a ton of fun, but let me know what you guys think. Post your comments down below, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I will talk with you guys later.